Firefighters, as you can see, are on scene where fire broke out at a colonial-era building at the Laborie Wine Estate in Paarl. Ziniko Mhlaba is tracking that story for us, joining us now live for an update. Ziniko, good to have you while on your holiday route, but a fire has broken out. What are you learning and what is the cause of the fire?
Well, Prati, they say job. Well, Prati, we understand that this particular fire started just before midday today, and we still have firefighters that are still on the scene, as we can see that through our visuals. But it's a very important site when it comes to the heritage and the history of the Western Cape in general, because it's one of the properties that is built along the wine farm district of the Western Cape, specifically in Paarl. And right now we understand that 3 buildings have been affected already. When we got to this May change, we're talking about one building, which is the one that you can see that has been completely engulfed down to ashes, which is one that you see there. That was the first building that was affected by this fire. But now, Prati, we understand that 2 more buildings have been affected. But to give us more details in terms of the state of this farm, of this operation, I'm joined now by Mr. Derek. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. Drakenstein Fire Operations. Talk to us about where things are right now in terms of operations.
Currently, the fire has been brought under control, and we are busy now with damping down, and there's a lot of hotspots within the buildings that we have to cover and to ensure that there are no flare-ups of any fires again.
Can you just take us back maybe when you got a call that there was fire? What did you find at the time and the time frames in terms of when you got that call and where things are right now?
Yeah, we got the call at approximately 20 to 12, and upon arrival, it was found that one of the buildings, the restaurant itself, was well alight, and then from there it escalated, and due to the wind, the fire spread to the adjacent buildings and to a third one. So the first one is actually a 2-in-1 building because it's 2 different users. So that's why we allocated as 2 buildings, and then the third one is used as a residence where the fire spread to.
Yeah. Talk to us about now the impact that this fire has had on the operations, because this is also an eatery. This way people can come and have some tours and enjoy. Any injuries maybe, and what's happening now in terms of the overall operations of the business?
Yeah, all people were safely evacuated by the staff, and we are grateful that the staff could proactively and react to the situation where they could, the patrons, evacuate the patrons and also make sure themselves that they are safely evacuated. So no one was injured in this incident, and then they will have deferred services on the site, but that will only be determined after a complete assessment of the entire site has been done.
Yeah, the capacity now of your men on the ground, whether you're talking about the tools that you need to use, but also the human capacity. And you're saying that you've brought it under control, but this is a fire season in the Western Cape. It's very windy as well. What are the dangers of those circumstances now in regards to possible impact of this in other areas as well, just outside this building?
Yeah, outside of this area, because it's windy now and it's summer, it's very dry, and we will have a huge potential for bush and veld fires and even mountain fires. So that our resources are stretched to the limit because we can only do as much. And we are fortunate that we could call upon other services to assist us with this fire as well.
Yeah. Talk to us now about the issue of the assessment that needs to be done. We understand that for any inspectors to come in, the property has to cool down. Time frames, when can we expect those investigations to start, but also end your operations? When are you likely going to leave the site?
We will most probably be on site for the next 24 hours to make sure that the site is completely safe before we can withdraw. If all goes well, it may be a few hours or so earlier, but we predict that we will be at least on site for the next 24 hours to ensure that there's no flare-ups and also potential spread to other unaffected areas.
I mean, I know that you have not done full investigations, but any insights or allegations in terms of what might have sparked this fire, and also your message to other businesses that are operating within this? We know that people are out on holiday, but what could be, the do's and issues that people must not even try that might cause similar situations?
First and foremost, the cause of the fire is not yet known, and due to the extent of the damage, it will take some time before that can be determined. So we cannot safely say what was the actual cause of the fire. So at this point in time, anything that the person will say will be speculation without facts. And then with regard to the time of the year, and also a person would want to have businesses be more vigilant with regard to the use of electricity and also the air conditioners, because that puts a strain on and the load on the system. So that would be basic advice, and then to also make sure that you your firefighting equipment and stuff, etc., on site. And fortunately, when we got into the site, this was a site that was completely serviced, and all the equipment was operable on the site, and that's commendable. And with that intact, it makes the potential damage or the potential losses so much less.
I mean, you said something a bit worrying or concerning, saying that you are stretched to the limit. What will that mean then? Should any fires outside this place break out, where will the capacity come from? Do you think we'll be able to handle any wildfires or any other fires from outside this building?
Currently, we are scaling down on our operations here, so we will leave crews on site, and some of our staff went back to their respective stations. So that is in order, if other calls come in, that they can attend to that.
All right. Mr. Derek, thank you very much, sir, for your time. Let me release you to your operations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. That's Mr. Derek, who has been leading or commanding the operations. As we see, those firefighters still battling out this particular fire that broke out just this afternoon. But some positive news, Prati, coming out of Mr. Derek, saying that no injuries were recorded, no fatalities were also recorded. So they're also stating that they brought the fire under control. However, they are still on standing by should anything happen, but also stating very clearly that as the firefighting operators along this region of the Cape, especially in the Cape Highlands, they are stretched to the limit already. So that's also very, very telling in terms of what is it or what the worst that can happen should things get out of control. But as he said, that it's very windy in the Western Cape, especially this western side of the Cape, which includes Paarl, Worcester and other regions as you drive up to Doran. So far things are under control, but they will be here for the next 24 hours just to ensure that things are not, there are no fires that are breaking out, as he had said, that the wind is able to spread the fires across several buildings. But so far, only 3 buildings have been affected, Prati. So it's back to you for now.
Much appreciated. Ziniko Mhlaba there in Paarl for us, reporting the scene of that fire that broke out in one of the heritage sites, a colonial building there in the Laborie Wine Estate.